Oh well, next song I'd like to do here is called the Irish Pub Song. And you know, everywhere you go in the world, you find an Irish pub, and that's sort of what this song's about. And well, I might need some help from my friends to do this, so let's give her a go, shall we? 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, you're walking through a city street, you could be in Peru, and you hear a distant calling, and you know it's meant for you. Then you drop what you were doing, and you join the merry mob, and before you know just where you are, you're in an Irish pub. They've got one in Honolulu, they've got one in Moscow too, they've got 4 of them in Sydney and a couple in Kathmandu. So whether you sing or pull a pint, you'll always have a job, 'cause wherever you go around the world, you'll find an Irish pub. Sign is fairly simple and it usually works the same. You'll have Razorhampton scoring in the Ireland-England game, and you know you're in an Irish pub the minute you're in the door, for a couple of boys with bodhrins will be murdering Crispy Moore. They've got one in Honolulu, they've got one in Moscow too, they've got 4 of them in Sydney and a couple in Kathmandu. So whether you sing or pull a pint, you'll always have a job, 'cause wherever you go around the world, you'll find an Irish pub. Norwegian and the manager comes from Cork, and the lad that's holding up the bar says only it just work. He was born and bred in Bolton, but his mammy's from Kildare, and he's gonna make his fortune soon and move to County Clare. They've got one in Honolulu, they've got one in Moscow too, they've got 4 of them in Sydney and a couple in Kathmandu. So whether you sing or pull a pint, you'll always have a job, 'cause wherever you go around the world, you'll find an Irish pub. Time for me to go, I have to catch me train, so I'll leave you sitting at the bar and face the wind and rain, for I'll have that pint you owe me if I'm not gone on the dry, when we meet next week in Frankfurt in the fields of Athenry. They've got one in Honolulu, they've got one in Moscow too, they've got 4 of them in Sydney and a couple in Kathmandu. So whether you sing or pull a pint, you'll always have a job, 'cause wherever you go around the world, you'll find an Irish pub. They've got one in Honolulu, they've got one in Moscow too, they've got 4 of them in Sydney and a couple in Kathmandu. So whether you sing or pull a pint, you'll always have a job, 'cause wherever you go around the world, you'll find an Irish pub. Yes, wherever you go around the world, you'll find an Irish pub. 1, 2, 3, 4. The pictures tell a story, this life has many shades. I'd wake up every morning, and before I'd start each day, I'd take a drag from last night's cigarette that smoldered in its tray, down a little something and then be on my way. Traveled far and wide, laid his head in many ports. I was guided by a compass, I saw beauty to the north. I drew the tale of many lives and wore the faces of my own. I had these memories all around me, so I wouldn't be alone. Some may be from showing up, and others are from growing up. Sometimes I was so messed up and didn't have a clue. I ain't winning no one over, I wear it just for you. I've got your name written here in a rose tattoo, in a rose tattoo, in a rose tattoo. I've got your name written here in a rose tattoo. This one's for the mighty sea, mischief, gold, and piracy. This one's for the man that raised me, taught me sacrifice and bravery. This one's for our favorite game, black and gold, we'd wave the flag. This one's for my family name, with pride I wear it to the grave. Some may be from showing up, and others are from growing up. Sometimes I was so messed up and didn't have a clue. I ain't winning no one over, I wear it just for you. I've got your name written here in a rose tattoo, in a rose tattoo, in a rose tattoo. I've got your name written here in a rose tattoo, in a rose tattoo, in a rose tattoo. I've got your name written here in a rose tattoo. This one means the most to me, stays here for eternity. A ship that always stays the course, an anchor for my every choice. A rose that shines down from above, I signed and sealed these words in blood. I heard them once sung in a song, it played again and we sang along. You'll always be there with me, oh, even if you're gone. You'll always have my love, our memory will live on. Oh, some may be from showing up, others are from growing up. Sometimes I was so messed up and didn't have a clue. I ain't winning no one over, I wear it just for you. I've got your name written here in a rose tattoo, in a rose tattoo, in a rose tattoo. I've got your name written here in a rose tattoo, in a rose tattoo, in a rose tattoo. With pride I'll wear it to the grave for you, in a rose tattoo, in a rose tattoo. I've got your name written here in a rose tattoo, in a rose tattoo, in a rose tattoo. Signed and sealed in blood, I would die for you. Say you're sorry once again, dear. You want me to take you back once more. You say you need a helping hand, dear, but that's what you told me once before. Walk softly on this heart of mine, love. Don't treat it mean and so unkind. Let it rest in peace and quiet, love. Walk softly on this heart of mine. Walk on. Someday you'll find a new love. I feel your heart is turned to stone. But please let me down real easy, 'cause loneliness moves in as you move on. Walk softly on this heart of mine, love. Don't treat it mean and so unkind. Let it rest in peace and quiet, love. Walk softly on this heart of mine. Walk softly on this heart of mine. Walk softly on this heart of mine. Live from Collingwood, I think we are tonight. Again, Tuesday Live. How you doing tonight? That was a little premature. It's a song Steve Fleshar requested. I don't know if Steve's out there. It's a Nick Cruz song. I live on a battlefield, surrounded by the ruins of the love we built, and then destroyed between us. The smoke is clear as I stumble through the rubble. I'm dazed, seeing double, and I'm truly mystified. My new home is a shell hole filled with tears and muddy water, and a bits of broken heart all around. There is desolation and the scenes of devastation of a love been torn apart. I live on a battlefield. I live on a battlefield. I live on a battlefield, the one where not one single drop of blood is spilled. It's no less horrifying, sweet memories, memories of a bygone situation, now shattered, Lord, and battered, lie scattered all around. My new home is a shell hole filled with the tears and muddy water, and a bits of broken heart all around. There is desolation and the scenes of devastation of a love that's been torn apart. I live on a battlefield. I live on a battlefield. I live on a battlefield. Everything that can has gone wrong. I live on a battlefield. It's gonna take spine to carry on. I live on a battlefield like a drowning man coming up for air. I live on a battlefield. I'm looking for another survivor, but I can't see one anywhere. My new home is filled with muddy water all around. There's bits of broken heart. My world is one of desolation and the scenes of devastation. There is no constellation for a love been torn apart. I live on a battlefield. I live on a battlefield. everybody doing tonight? I'm here in an unusual place, not the usual. We're on the road away from the regular Tuesday Live studios. So I just found a corner of the place in Collingwood where we're dog sitting. Little Billy, the wonder dog. He's quite a character, Billy. I'm not going to get him on screen because he's very shy. But love everybody's here tonight. I see folks checking in. I saw Holly checking in early, and Kathy and David from out in Norris Point, Newfoundland. That's exciting to have a Newfoundland viewer tonight. And Stan McRae. We've got some images from Stan McRae coming in a little later tonight. Jumped into them a little earlier, actually. Got a little pared down show tonight. And I see Grandpa Chris from Fenland Falls and Noel, I think, Wendell from down Ingleside way. Good to see you, Noel. And I've got my screens over to the side. Usually it's right in front of me, so I look kind of look like I'm looking at the camera, but looking off to the side. But things got a little hairy there for a bit at the start. My screens are all messed up here. I can't see I got to make sure I can see what's going on there. Whoops. I'm moving my camera around now. That's kind of weird. Anyways, thanks so much for tuning in tonight. Whoever's out there, let me know if you haven't checked in yet. Check in. It's always great to know who's watching. I know there's a lot of folks that watch on YouTube and on their smart TV, so they may not have the ability to comment. Like my good friends Jim and Lynn out in Vancouver Island. So hi, Jim and Lynn, and I know David Hill down in Long Sault watches, or down in Cornwall watches regularly, I believe, on YouTube as well, maybe. And I know my mom's watching. Hi, Mom. Hope you've got in tonight okay. And everyone else who's out there watching, thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate everybody who checks out. We've got kind of a fun show tonight. Please make sure you like, comment, share the show if you can. It's the only way I can grow the show. Facebook won't let me advertise. Not that I'd want to. I think Facebook advertising is a little wacky. And again, we get enough advertisements on Facebook. We don't need another one, do we? But please share. Tell your friends about the show. Tell your family about the show, or tell anyone you want about the show. I'd love to have more folks come join us. But we've got a fun show tonight. We've got the always popular Stan Picks, of course, and I've called the show Silverstein, Gold, and More, which many of you probably wondered what's going on with this Silverstein thing. But anyways, before I get into that, I should back up a bit. And I opened up with Walk Softly on This Heart of Mine, which I think somebody requested that. I should make better notes of what songs people request. Maybe Stan McRae requested it a while back. I know Stan requests a lot of great tunes. It's recorded most recently by the Kentucky Headhunters, but actually was written by the great bluegrass mandolin player Bill Monroe. And it's a great bluegrass tune, so I thought I'd enjoy that. I'm going to send that song out to my good friend Tim McDonald. Some of you who've watched the show for all full 2 seasons will remember my buddy Tim McDonald. We played some banjo. We had some banjo footage from Tim's backyard. Tim's having a few health challenges right now, and I just want to send that out to Tim. I hope he gets well soon. And I know Tim's a great bluegrass player. He would have been great to have a little banjo on that as well. And then that second tune was actually one that my buddy Steve, who watches sometimes, I'm not sure if Steve's on here tonight, but if Steve's on some point in time. But anyways, he requested I play some Nick Lowe tunes, and that's a Nick Lowe tune. I Live on a Battlefield. It's kind of a bit of a dark song, or not, but I don't know. But anyways, speaking of requests, I did get some requests from Ron Desailly, our good friend up in Kapuskasing. He requested a couple of Bobby Bear songs, which led me I went down a Shel Silverstein rabbit hole, and people are probably wondering, who's Shel Silverstein? And you should look him up. He's a really interesting character. He wrote many songs, but he sort of started out as a cartoonist. And he was actually a cartoonist for Playboy magazine, which judge him as you will. But he also wrote children's books, adult books, and he wrote a ton of songs. I mean, he recorded some of them himself, but he's not as well known for the songs he recorded as he is for the songs that other artists recorded that he wrote. And as you're going to see tonight, we're going to go through a few of them, and it'll surprise you a little bit, the diversity of them, and the number of different artists that he recorded, or he actually wrote songs for. And thanks to Ron for sending me down this hole. And we've got got a few other songs we're going to play as well. And as I mentioned earlier, we've got some Stan's picks. And Ron's here tonight. Good to see you, Ron. I'm going to kick off with one of the Doctor Hook and the Doctor Hook and the Medicine Show. I don't remember those. Probably a band, maybe I don't know, 70s, 80s. I don't. We probably don't have Chris here tonight to give us the references for all these songs, but you can look them up yourselves. I'll try to be as informative as I can, but I'm going to play here from my cozy little couch, and I've got a pretty basic setup with the mic and camera, so I hope it works out okay. And thanks so much for joining in tonight. This song, you'll probably remember this song. If you don't remember the song itself, I think once you hear it, you will. I think it was a hit for Dr. Hook and the Medicine Show. I'm not going to play the one that was, I think, one of their bigger hits, which is the cover of the Rolling Stone. You might remember that one. We have played it before. I've played it before in the show. But I found this one, which also is a Shel Silverstein song, and I think he actually wrote some. I think he wrote it like a full album of songs for Dr. Hook and the Medicine Show. Kind of interesting character, but anyways, check him out if you're interested. But anyways, this one's called Sylvia's Mother. Sylvia's mother says Sylvia's busy to come to the phone. Sylvia's mother says Sylvia's trying to start a new life of her own. Sylvia's mother says Sylvia's happy, so why don't you leave her alone? And the operator says 40 cents more for the next 3 minutes. Please, Mrs. Avery, just got to talk to her. I'll only keep her a while. Please, Mrs. Avery, just wanna tell her goodbye. Sylvia's mother says Sylvia's packing. She's gonna be leaving today. Sylvia's mother says Sylvia's marrying a fellow down Galveston Way. Sylvia's mother says please don't say nothing to make her start crying and stay. And the operator says 40 cents more for the next 3 minutes. Please, Mrs. Avery, just gotta talk to her. I'll only keep her a while. Please, Mrs. Avery, just wanna tell her goodbye. Sylvia's mother says Sylvia's hurrying. She's catching the 9 o'clock train. Sylvia's mother says take your umbrella, Sylvia, it's starting to rain. Sylvia's mother says thank you for calling. Sir, won't you call back again? And the operator says 40 cents more for the next 3 minutes. Please, Mrs. Avery, just gotta talk to her. I'll only keep her a while. Please, Mrs. Avery, just wanna tell her goodbye. Tell her goodbye.
It's a great song, Sylvia's Mother. I remember that one from. I remember it was a great radio tune. And Dr. Hook and the Men Show. I always loved that band. I just kind of forgot about them. It's kind of the cool thing about this whole Tuesday Live thing, and people like Ron and other folks, Stan and David and Kathy and everybody throwing, anyone who wants to throw a request in. I don't always get to them right at the show, but it's always fun to go down these little musical rabbit holes, because boy, there's a lot of songs out there, and we've only scratched the surface of them on Tuesday Live, even after 100 and what are we? I think we were 168 episodes, and this is the 26th, so we're up around 190. It's getting close to 200, which is kind of fun. Hey, Danny, good to see you here tonight. And Mary from Carmen, Mary and John, Carmen, Manitoba, thanks for checking in. Great to see folks here. This is a song that was a Bobby Bear song. It's one of the ones that Ron requested, called The Mermaid Song. And he wrote some songs. I don't know if you'd call them novelty songs, but they're a little different. And this is called The Mermaid Song. But I was a lad in a fishing town. An old man said to me, you can spend your life, your jolly life, just sailing on the sea. You can search the world for pretty girls till your eyes are weak and dim. But don't go swimming with a mermaid, son, if you don't know how to swim. 'Cause her hair is green as seaweed, her skin is blue and pale. And I'll tell you now before you start, you can love that girl with all your heart, but you're gonna love the upper part, but you're not gonna like the tail. Well, I signed on to a whaling ship, and my very first day at sea, I seen a mermaid in the waves reaching out to me. Come live with me in the sea, said she, and down on the ocean floor I'll show you a million wondrous things that you never seen before. Over I jumped and she pulled me down to her seaweed bed, where a pillow made of tortoise shells she placed beneath my head. She fed me shrimps and caviar upon a silver dish. From her head to her waist she was just my taste, but the rest of her was fish. And her hair was green as seaweed, and her skin was pale and blue, and her face, it was a work of art, and I love that girl with all my heart, but I only loved the upper part, I did not like the tail. Then one day she swam away, and I sang to the clams and whales how I missed her fins and her seaweed's hair and the silvery shine of her scales. Then her sister swam by, and I set my heart a-whirl, 'cause her upper part was an ugly old fish, but the bottom part was a girl. And her toes are pink and rosy, and her knees are smooth and pale, and her legs, they are a work of art, and I love that girl with all my heart. I don't give a damn about the upper part, and that's how I end my tale. That's a fun song, the Mermaid Song. Maybe a good one, David Ward. You might want to sing that out in Norris Point there, out by the ocean. Actually, up here in Collingwood. I've never been up to Collingwood. It's a beautiful town. I haven't spent a lot of time in Collingwood. I've been to Blue Mountain a few times to ski, but I haven't really spent too much time in the town proper. And it's a lovely little town. A lot of condos here. A lot of retired folk living here, I think. But great restaurants, great shops, and a huge harbor and big water out there, Georgian Bay. So went for a big walk out to the point by the old Collingwood. I don't know, silos, whatever. I guess the ships used to come in here at one point in time. They used to build ships here, actually. It's interesting. You walk out the sidewalk, and there's all these little, sort of little plaques in the sidewalk that goes out to the point that names all the hulls, the various hulls, the hull numbers, and the ships they built. And obviously through like the through the Second World War, they built a lot of ships here, a lot of HMS, a lot of Navy ships, obviously for the war effort, and they also built a lot of other ships. I think up till like almost into the 80s, I think they were building ships here, but it was kind of a cool spot. This is a song. I'm gonna get maybe see if anyone can identify this song, but it's written, released in 1971. It's kind of a protest song, but I'm not sure if someone requested this or not. I had it in my to playlist, and again, I should take better notes, but if you requested it, here it is. If you didn't request it, well, here it is too.
Everywhere is freaks and Harrys, dykes and fairies. Tell me, where is sanity? Tax the rich, feed the poor, till there are no rich no more. I'd love to change the world, but I don't know what to do. So I'll leave it up to you. Population keeps on breeding, nation bleeding, still more feeding economy. Sky is funny, skies are sunny, bees make honey, who needs money? Monopoly. I'd love to change the world, but I don't know what to do. So I'll leave it up to you. More pollution, no solution. Institution, electrocution. Spread the word, rich or poor, them and us, stop the war. I'd love to change the world, but I don't know what to do. So I'll leave it up to you. I'll leave it up to you. I see Peter. Hey, Peter, good to see you checking in tonight. Peter did guess that in the 10 years after, in case you don't see the comments. I should put the comments up once in a while. 10 years after, I'd love to change the world. Song by 10 years after. Alvin Lee originally did that song, I think. I believe that was an Alvin Lee. Well,
I don't think I know that Alvin Lee was part of 10 Years After. It was sort of a pinnacle of the protest movement, I guess, 1971, shortly after everything changed, I guess, in the world. But it is a fantastic tune. It is an awesome tune. You're right, Danny. And if you listen to the original, it has an awesome guitar solo by Alvin Lee as well. But sometimes I was sort of looking at the lyrics. It sort of has that opening verse with the dikes and ferries, and you think about some, it's obviously the times. We probably would not write a lyric like that now, a band, but when you're sort of inferring that's unnatural, I guess. It's something you just we don't do anymore. We're a little bit more open. We're more loving of all people, of no matter where they're coming from, where they're going, sort of thing. At least we hope we are. But I think I don't change lyrics too often because they're sort of they're of the time, and I think we sort of can think of that as mature adults. We can think of those things and think of them at the time as well. So, anyways. I'm gonna get Stan's picks here, as I think are next on the agenda tonight. We're rolling right along, rolling up half past the hour. So I'm gonna get Stan's picks here. I'm just gonna get my thing down here so I can see what I'm doing, and I'm gonna kick us over to Stan's picks. I hope you have some, you're sitting in a comfortable seat, because this is a pretty long song. It's one of those long story songs. Another Shel Silverstein song. I think he wrote with Bobby Bear. This is the one that Ron requested, so I'll send this out to you up in Caps Casing, Ron. We're gonna get some snow up there, are you? Saw some snow blowing through the north. We're getting rain down here. It's called Rosalie's Good Eats Cafe. It's 2 a.m. Saturday night at Rosalie's Good Eats Cafe. Well, I'm gonna keep going. Onions are frying. What's that doing here? My thing's screwing up. Sorry, people, folks. Jukebox is bright, and the jukebox is starting to play. And the sign on the wall says, "In God we trust. All others have to pay." Something's going on here, folks. I'm getting some weird stuff going here with my... In the morning, Saturday night, Rosalie's... Sorry, folks. I'm gonna start this off again. There's something wrong with my thing here. It's kind of wacky on me. I'm just gonna go manual here. That's right. Sorry, folks. I apologize for the delay here. My iPad's gone crazy on me. It's like going fast forwarding on me here. Let's try this again. Maybe it's the Russians. It's 2 a.m, Saturday night. Rosalie's Good Eats Cafe. The onions are frying, the neon is bright. The jukebox is starting to play, and the sign on the wall says, "In God we trust, all others have to pay." It's 2 a.m, Saturday night, at Rosalie's Good Eats Cafe. Short order cook with a mama tattoo is turning them hamburgers slow. Eggs over easy, whole wheat down. Y'all want that coffee to go. He never once dreamed as a rodeo star that he'd wind up here today. 2 a.m, Saturday night, Rosalie's Good Eats Cafe. There's a tall, skinny girl in the booth in the back, wearing jeans and a second-hand fur. She's been to the doctor, then called up a man, now wonders just where she can turn. Stares at her coffee, looks up at the ceiling. Lord, it's a strange place to pray. 2 a.m, Saturday night, Rosalie's Good Eats Cafe. There's a guy in the tux and stands in the corner, feeding the jukebox his dime. He's just had a woman, thought that he bought her, but he's found he's just rented some time. He couldn't sleep, so he came back to see if anyone else wants to play. 2 a.m, Saturday night, at Rosalie's Good Eats Cafe. There's an old dollar bill in a frame on the wall, the first one that Rose ever made. It was once worth $1 a long time ago, but like Rose, it's beginning to fade. She's back at the register, dreaming of someone, how things would be if he'd stayed. But it's 2 a.m, Saturday night, Rosalie's Good Eats Cafe. The stoop-shouldered man and his frizzy-haired woman, strange how their eyes never meet. Well, he's playing pinball, she's fixing the blanket of the baby asleep on the seat. He's out of work putting on weight. And hell, they never did have much to say. 2 in the morning on Saturday night, Rosalie's Good Eats Cafe. Waitress Darlene, she sits at the counter, painting her fingernails blue. And the short order cookie yells, move it or lose it, and pick up and order a stew. Someday a rich, handsome man will walk in and carry her far, far away. From 2 in the morning on Saturday night, Rosalie's Good Eats Cafe. The shaggy-haired hippie, he's finished his meal. He's counting the change in his jeans. A burger and coffee are 85 cents. Man, he's only got 23. Smiles at Rose and she winks back at him, but Lord, that's a high price to pay. At 2 in the morning on Saturday night, Rosalie's Good Eats Cafe. Baby-faced sailor, he leans on the phone, dials a number again. Well, the guy in the tux tells the girl in the jeans about the wonderful places he's seen. And the wino comes in off the streets and starts shouting about fortunes that he threw away. Rosalie's asking the shaggy-haired hippie if he's got a warm place to stay. And the short order cook takes 5 from the till. Rosalie's looking away. And the onions keep frying, the neon is bright, and the jukebox continues to play. And it's 2 in the morning on Saturday night at Rosalie's Good Eats Cafe. That's an awesome song, about 10 minutes long. It's a beauty. But another of the Shel Silverstein tunes. I think he wrote that one actually with Bobby Bear, but a sort of a classic kind of song story in a song, I guess. And this next one is another Shel Silverstein tune that he actually wrote for Johnny Cash, and it's a song that I remember this song because it's off the very first album I bought. I don't know if you remember that. I think we had that Capitol Record Club. Remember that thing? I don't know, was it $1 or something? You get that little card. It used to be on magazines or maybe in the back of comic books. I'm not sure where it always was, but you get the records, and then of course they'd start sending you records if you didn't reply on a regular basis. And my brother, I think, joined, and I think that's where I got it. Through that, I got the Johnny Cash Live at San Quentin album. And that was I think the very first album I ever bought. Well, maybe if I'm being completely honest here, I might have bought when I was in public school, in elementary school, I might have bought the Partridge Family album, just because we're watching the show and it's into it. But I can't remember whether I bought the Johnny Cash one first or the Partridge Family. But they're two quite different albums. But anyways, this was one of my favorite songs off, and it's a bit of a novelty song. You'll recognize as soon as I start playing it, probably. But But it's a great tune, great Johnny Cash tune. And I don't know what's going on with my thing here. I've got some sort of weird thing going on here. But anyways, let's take this off. It's called A Boy Named Sue. Well, my daddy left home when I was 3. He didn't leave much to Ma and me, except this old guitar and an empty bottle of booze. Now, I don't blame him because he run ahead, but the meanest thing that my daddy ever did was before he left, he went and named me Sue. That's right. He must have thought that is quite a joke, cause it got a lot of laughs from a lot of folks. Seems I had to fight my whole life through. Some gal would giggle and I'd get red, some guy'd laugh and I'd bust his head. I tell you, life ain't easy for a boy named Sue. But I grew up quick and I grew up mean. My fists got hard, my wits got keen. I'd roam from town to town to hide my shame. But I made a vow to the moon and stars that I'd search the honky-tonks and bars and kill that man who gave me that awful name. Well, it was Gatlinburg in mid-July, and I just hit town and my throat was dry. Thought I'd stop and have myself a brew. At an old saloon on a street of mud, there at a tail dude stud sat the dirty mangy dog named me Sue. Well, I knew that snake was my own sweet dad from the worn-out picture that my mother'd had. I knew that scar in his cheek and his evil eye. He was big and bent and gray and old, and I looked at him and my blood ran cold, and I said, "My name is Sue. How do you do? Now you're gonna die." Well, I hit him hard right between the eyes and he went down, but to my surprise, he came up with a knife and cut off a piece of my ear. But I busted a chair right across his teeth and we crashed through the wall and into the street, kicking and gouging in the mud and the blood and the beer. Well, I tell you, I fought tougher man, but I really can't remember when. He kicked like a mule and he bit like a crocodile. Well, I heard him laugh and then I heard him cuss. He went for his gun and I pulled mine first, and he stood there looking at me and I saw him smile. And he said, "Son, this world is rough, and if a man's gonna make it, he's gotta be tough, and I knew you wouldn't be there to help you along. So I gave you that name and I said goodbye, and I knew you'd have to get tough or die. It's a name that helped to make you strong." He said, "Now you just fought one heck of a fight, and I know you hate me and you got the right to kill me now, and I wouldn't blame you if you do. But you ought to thank me before I die for the gravel in your gut and the spit in your eye, 'cause I'm that son of a bitch that named you Sue." What could I do? I got all choked up and I threw down my gun, and I called my pa and he called me his son, and I came away with a different point of view. And I think about him now and then, every time I try and every time I win. And if I ever have a son, I think I'm gonna name him Bill or George or Danny or David or Peter or anything but Sue. I still hate that name. A boy named Sue. Thanks, Ron. I assume you're referring to the Rosalie Goody Cafe. That's a great tune, Ron. Thanks again for requesting that. And so that's another Shel Silverstein song. And I've actually got, I dug into the archives and pulled out a Robbie O'Spoon. Actually did a Shel Silverstein song a little while back. You might not recognize it as a Shel Silverstein song, but it certainly is. Shel Silverstein wrote this, recorded it. You can find a Shel Silverstein version of this if you go looking for it, but you'll probably find a version that's more popular by another band. And since Robbie O'Spoon's doing it, it might be an Irish band. So let's send it over to Robbie. A long time ago when the earth was green, there were more kinds of animals than you'd ever seen. They'd run around free when the earth was being born, but the loveliest of them all was the unicorn.
There were green alligators and long-necked geese, some humpty-back camels and some chimpanzees, some cats and rats and elephants, but sure as you're born, the loveliest of all was the unicorn. Now God seen some sinning and it gave him a pain, and he says, stand back, I'm gonna make it rain. He says, hey brother Noah, I'll tell you what to do. Build me a floating zoo and take some of them. Green alligators and long-necked geese, some humpty-back camels and some chimpanzees, some cats and rats and elephants, but sure as you're born, don't you forget me unicorn. Old Noah was there to answer the call. He finished up making the ark just as the rain started to fall. He marched in the animals 2 by 2, and he called out as they went through. He said, hey Lord, I got your green alligators and long-necked geese, some humpty-back camels and some chimpanzees, some cats and rats and elephants, but Lord, I'm so forlorn, I just can't see no unicorn. Then Noah looked out through the driving rain. Them unicorns were hiding, playing silly games, a kicking and a splashing while the rain was pouring. Oh, them silly unicorns. There were green alligators and long-necked geese, some humpty-back camels and some chimpanzees. Noah cried, close the door, 'cause the rain's a-pouring, and we just can't wait for those unicorns. Well, the ark started moving, and it drifted with the tides. Them unicorns looked up from the rocks, and they cried. And the water came down and sort of floated them away. And that's why you'll never see a unicorn to this day. You'll see the green alligators and long-necked geese, some humpty-back camels and some chimpanzees, some cats and rats and elephants, but sure as you're born, you're never gonna see no unicorn. No, there's no unicorn to be seen.
Well, thanks so much for that, Robbie. That's the Unicorn song, which Shel Silverstein wrote as well. So quite an interesting guy. Wrote a ton of songs. Lived an interesting life too. I was reading a little bit about him on Wikipedia, and he lived for a while. He lived on a houseboat in Sausalito, and I think he lived in New York City for a while. And interesting character. Died young, fairly young, anyways. I think in Key West, in Florida. I guess when he was 68, he died. But anyways, here's a song. It's not a Shel Silverstein song. It's actually Jason Isbell's song that Stan, I think, requested a while back, and I think I may have even played it once, but it's a great song. I'm going to take another run at it. It's called If We Were Vampires. It's not the long flowing dress that you're in, or the light coming off of your skin, the fragile heart you protected for so long, or the mercy in your sense of right and wrong. It's not your hands searching slow in the dark, or your nails leaving love's watermark. It's not the way you talk me off the roof, your questions like directions to the truth. It's knowing that this can't go on forever. Likely one of us will have to spend some days alone. Maybe we'll get 40 years together, but one day I'll be gone, or one day you'll be gone. If we were were vampires and death was a joke. We go out on the sidewalk and smoke and laugh at all the lovers and their plans. I wouldn't feel the need to hold your hand, but maybe time running out is a gift. I'll work hard till the end of my shift to give you every second I can find. I hope it isn't me who's left behind. It's knowing that this can't go on forever. Likely one of us will have to spend some days alone. Maybe we'll get 40 years together, but one day I'll be gone, or one day you'll be gone. That this can't go on forever. Likely one of us will have to spend some days alone. Maybe we'll get 40 years together, but one day I'll be gone, or one day you'll be gone. If We Were Vampires by Jason Isbell. Great tune. And this tune, again, I'm not sure if someone requested it. I had it on my... It's a bit of a one-hit wonder, I think, by a guy by the name of Randy Van Warmer. Anybody know what famous song that Randy Van Warmer had a hit with? Anybody? Of course, there's a time delay here. I say something, I think it's about 5 to 10 seconds before it shows up on Facebook or YouTube. Oh yeah, I was going to play a harmonica. This wasn't I. Anyways, maybe you can guess it. Nice, Kathy. Things acting up again. You packed in the morning, I stared out the window and I struggled for something to say. You left in the rain without closing the door. I didn't stand in your way. Miss you more than I miss you before, and now where I'll find comfort, God knows. 'Cause you left me just when I needed you most. Left me just when I needed you most. Now most every morning I stare out the window and I think about where you might be. I've written you letters that I'd like to send. If you would just send one to me. 'Cause I need you more than I needed before, and now where I'll find comfort, God knows. 'Cause you left me just when I needed Oh, God, Lord. You packed in the morning, I stared out the window and I struggled for something to say. You left in the rain without closing the door. Good Lord. I didn't stand in your way. Now I love you more than I loved you before, and now where I come from for God knows, 'cause you left me just when I needed you most. Oh yeah, you left me just when I needed you most. You left me just when I needed you most. That's a great song, Kathy. Thanks for guessing that one. And I've got technical issues here with my iPad, my prompter. It's jumping all over the place, which is always a challenge. But we're almost out of time here. We're up on the hour. Thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. Stan for sending in his always awesome pictures. Appreciate Stan. I know Stan shoots a lot of pictures and down in Eastern Ontario, and appreciate what he sends to us. And looking forward, I know that solar eclipse is going to swing right through Eastern Ontario and a lot of our viewing area. So hope you have plans to catch that. Remember, don't look at it directly, but I'm sure Stan will have some pictures for us. I know he's already been out practicing taking pictures of the sun. Stan, don't be looking into the sun with your camera. I'm not sure that's good, but I'm sure Stan knows what he's doing. He's a professional. But anyways, thanks so much for watching tonight, folks. Our Shel Silverstein, our Silverstein Gold and More show with a bunch of Shel Silverstein tunes. I hope you thought that was interesting. And if you're around, if you're just goofing around, I'm just gonna shut this down at the end of the show and hook up my iPad, set up the Zoom meeting, and we'll have a little after party if you want to pop out to that. I hope my mom's going to be there, and maybe some other folks will drop in as well and have a little chat. We usually go for about half hour or so. So drop in, say hello, and even if you can just drop in, say hello, that'd be fun too. Great to see you. I know we have a lot of folks out there we chat with on the show, and it'd be nice to see you sort of semi-live as well on virtually. But anyways, be well, have a good Easter. If you're traveling, be safe. And, well, just love. Everybody needs a place to go. Everybody needs a way to know they're just loved. Why don't we hurt the ones we love? Why don't we lift them up instead of putting them down and just love? It's deep inside every one of us. There's something brighter than gold waiting to shine out. Keep it covered up with a layer of clay. We've got to start washing it off someday with just love. For a very short time, to lie in the sun and sip sweet wine and just love. We'll all be here and then be gone. Instead of harsh words and singing sad songs, let's just love. It's deep inside every one of us. There's something brighter than gold waiting to shine out. Keep it covered up with a layer of clay. We've got to start washing it off someday with just love. just gonna do, and if you join with me, well then we would make two. We need more give and less taken away. If we start right now, we'll get there someday to just love. You find it in your heart if you look deep enough. You find the only thing that we really need now, it's just love. It's hard to just love in a world full of hate. If we get started now, it won't be too late to just love. It's deep inside every one of us, there's something brighter than gold waiting to shine out. We'll keep it covered up with a layer of clay. We've got to start washing it off someday with just love. With just love. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. See you next week. We're going to do a spring theme show. If you have any spring song requests, let me know. See you then, if not sooner. Take care. Be safe, everybody. Have a great Easter. Bye-bye.